Everyone and their mother thinks they're amazing at sales. They think they're like fucking Jordan Belfort. But then when it actually comes time to jumping on a sales call with someone and closing them, they have no clue, or maybe they do have a clue, but they just suck. I had this client not too long ago who I booked 50 meetings for, 50. Out of those 50 meetings, they closed 3. Okay? The next month after that, I booked them 50 meetings as well, and they were able to close 35. Okay? Even personally, I've had months where I don't close anything, and I have months where I close a lot. And this is the one thing, and trust me, it's not some, oh, this is a new closing framework, follow this 3-step process to close more, or, do this simple method to close more deals, or, you have to stand to the side of them, or, move your head and see if, like, so much shit is out there about sales. And in reality, you only need one thing, because one simple thing, it took my client, like that same client that I just told you about, from 3 closes in a month to over 35. And myself, where I've taken over 50 sales calls in a month myself, 60 sales calls in a month myself, and only closed 3, to comparison to a few months later, where now I'm closing, I have 20 meetings booked and I'm able to close 15 of those. What is the separation between those two? Why do I even listen to this guy? What the fuck's going on? Let's jump into the exact framework that I'm following. So number 1, the first thing you have to realize is the sale happens before the call. Okay? There's this funny thing that I kind of recently realized, and it doesn't have to do anything with sales. It has to do with human psychology. So, for example, if you're taking a girl out on a date, before that date, she's going to check out your Instagram. She's going to maybe be texting you a little bit. You might have called her a little bit before. Maybe you FaceTimed. She knows who you are. She sees you, as an attractive guy, or maybe she doesn't see you as an attractive guy. Before that date, she has 2 choices. The 2 choices are, she either shaves her legs, her body part, whatever, or she doesn't shave. And that one simple choice, to shave or not shave, is the choice that happens beforehand, because she's thinking, okay, is this guy good enough to potentially maybe, we do something sexually? And that choice is not made during the date, it's made before the date. Most girls, if you're a girl and you're watching this, if you're like a raging feminist, I apologize, but if you're if you're a girl, maybe this is something that resonates with you in this behalf, but that decision is mostly kind of assumed by the girl beforehand. So what does this have to do with you, with your sales interaction, who doesn't know how to close deals, who doesn't know actually how to make your selling effective? And what you have to realize is the sale happens before the call. Jordan Belfort lied to you, Jeremy Miner lied to you, all these people lied to you about actually how to close, because the sale happens before the call. If you jump on a call with someone and they're asking you questions about, what does your business provide? What are you about? I don't know if I want to go. If they're giving you objections like that, you're doing something wrong. Okay? If you've gotten those questions before, ask yourself, have I gotten those questions before? If the answer to that is yes, you're doing something wrong and you're following what everyone else says, which is fine. But now there's a new method that I'm going to share with you about actually how to get people to jump on a call and just simply hand you their credit card. I had a few people not too long ago, and I literally jumped on a call with them. They're like, hey, I have a few questions, but I'm ready to go. I'm going to join. I just have a few questions. We talked for 5 minutes. Okay, here's my credit card. 3 questions later. Done. Okay? So when you say what happens before the sale action, what actually happens before the sale? I'm going to break it down for you here. Okay? So before the sale, what you're going to want is you're going to want some sort of pre-call, pre-interaction, pre-sales interaction homework per se. You're going to want something for them to do beforehand that pretty much educates them. And this is the biggest thing. You want to educate them. For example, if you look at someone like Jesus Christ, who was the most influential man to ever walk this planet, 2,000 years later, his word is still being preached. Okay? Jesus Christ, for example, the most influential man, He went from town to town to town educating people. He didn't go from town to town to town asking people, hey, do you want to join a sales call and come to this church on this day and then maybe I'll show you something. No, he just educated people, straightforward. He just educated, okay? And pretty much with education, you're going to want to follow a simple framework on actually how to educate, which I'm going to go through. But you're going to want to educate people about yourself, your business, why you're in business, why do you even do what you do in the first place? Why should they listen to you? Why should they buy from you? Why are you different? There's so many things that these people need to know that can so easily be put in some sort of pre-call education about your business, your mechanism, etc. People need to be educated. You don't want to be talking to people who just don't know nothing about who you are. You need to educate people. So in terms of education, now, okay, you're like, okay, I need to educate people. People need to know who I am before the sales call. People need to understand what my process is about. People need to know this stuff. But what do I actually do in terms of education? Okay, let's go through it. So number one, the one biggest thing you need in education is this. You need to shift people's beliefs. Okay, so there is this, as humans, human psychology, we have tons of biases. When I mean biases, we have like confirmation bias, like love tendencies, we have reciprocity bias. There are so many biases that are happening subconsciously in our brain. And the more of these you can appeal to, the more influential you become. And pretty much the more of these you appeal to, you pretty much become this person where it's like, or you view this person who is appealing to these tendencies as like this massive influential figure, okay? And pretty much with education, the way to do this is you're going to want to shift beliefs. That's the biggest way to, have these these biases come forward, is to shift people's beliefs. Because if you're bringing someone from point X, okay, this is what I believe, to something new, something completely different, you are now the person who has helped them take on a new identity in that realm. And that is very valuable. So you're going to want to shift beliefs. And in order to shift beliefs, you have one major job, okay? If you look at Hitler, for example, the reason why Hitler was so influential to the German people is because the Germans were going against the British people, Britain, UK. They were going against America. They had someone to go against in order to go for. Okay, the reason why look at Christianity, for example, is so influential is because they are going against something. They are going against Judaism, Islam, right? So in order to go for something, you have to go against something, okay? Every war has two sides. It's not three sides. It's this side or this side, okay? So when you're shifting beliefs, you're going to want to go against something to go for something. This is the biggest thing. So when you're educating and when you're explaining something and shifting beliefs around your product, around how your product works, shift the beliefs, but shift them towards something and away from something. That's a big point. Okay? So for example, if I'm educating someone about how to lose weight and I'm a weight loss coach, I'm a fitness trainer, I'm going to want to tell them straight off the bat that doing more cardio and dieting is not going to help them lose weight. I'm going to tell them that straight up. What that's going to do is that it's going to be like, oh, wow, I formed my entire identity around that. And now that you're going against that, that's kind of refreshing because no one else has ever said that. And I'm kind of curious now to what you're going to talk about. And then I bring them to this new place, shift their beliefs, show them evidence, show them the new mechanism. And wow, this new shiny object is dangling in front of me. And now I am super, super intrigued. Okay? So I can't emphasize this enough. You have to educate your prospects and you have to shift their beliefs and you really have to dial this process in order to become influential and actually get people to convert before the sales calls. That is my mission. Converting people before sales calls. It's that simple. Okay? And then another problem that I want to talk about is show rate. Okay? So everyone's like, closing framework. Here's how to close. Here's the 3 things to never say on a sales call. Fuck that. You also have to account for your show rate. Okay. So instead of just educating people, you also have to have a good show rate. You can't just focus on sales, sales, sales. You have to get people to show up to those sales interactions. Me personally, I have about a 75 to 80% show rate. That's pretty good. I've been around a 40% before. It doesn't feel the best. I've been around a 50% before. It doesn't feel the best. To get to a 75, 80%, it's difficult. But the only way to do that, and I'm going to emphasize this again, is the only way to get that show rate up. And the only way to do that is through the thing that I was talking about before. I just baited all you guys. It's through education. Okay. So for example, let's say you had a meeting with Donald Trump, for example, and that meeting was 2 weeks from now. And you know that meeting was on 3 p.m. 2 weeks from now on the specific date. For those 2 weeks leading up to the meeting, you would consistently be thinking about that meeting. You wouldn't forget that meeting like your life depended on it. Okay. And the reason that is because Donald Trump is an authority figure. He has a lot of status, and so much status that you wouldn't dare to miss that meeting. You would never even think twice about missing that meeting. Okay. So everyone's talking about, oh, how do I increase my show rate? How do I get, this amazing show rate? You have to educate and shift beliefs and become a status person that brings people from X to Y, which doing that process of bringing someone somewhere raises your status, provides value to them. And now when they book a meeting with you, they're not going to dare to miss that meeting. It's very straightforward. It's very, very, very straightforward. So the entire thesis of this video, as you can kind of see, I'm talking about show rate. I'm talking about, pre-call homework. All that is to close more people is education. You have to educate people on your product. If you're watching this right now and you don't have any educational assets, just turn off this video, go make an educational asset about some sort of mechanism that you're doing within your business, shift their beliefs, show them why your product is different, your service is different. Because at the end of the day, and I hate to say this, but a lot of people in the space, in the online space, if you're a local business, if you're it's a little bit different, but if you're in the online space, what you have to realize is a lot of people are just trying to push prospects into a sales call, into a calendar. Okay. And these prospects are highly intelligent people. When people are doing this sort of stuff, they think that these prospects are like these dumb, troglodyte type people who are just like, oh, sales call, cool. They're not like that at all. Okay. And on average, people will watch about 17 hours of your content before deciding to purchase with you. Like I said at the start, if a girl will shave before the date or after the date, it's the same thing. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a ton of content out there. And in that content, you're going to want to shift beliefs, okay? Shift people's beliefs, get them educated, get them drawn in and really committed to your vision, to your process, to really allow them to see you as this influential authority figure and decide to purchase with you. This was kind of a ramble. I didn't really have a script for this. This was my script. It's just like a little, if that focuses. Little script, kind of a ramble. Just wanted to kind of get on here and tell you guys the importance of education, because I've personally dealt with a lot of companies who you just push people into a sales call and they don't show up to the sales calls. Even if they do show up, they're like, hey, how are you? What is this about? And you don't want to deal with those people. You want people who join the call and be like, hey, I've been watching your content, or hey, I've been pretty committed to your process and your journey for a while. And you know what? I'm really ready to join. I've done my research, and yeah, I think this is going to be a great decision, man. Cool. Credit card, 5-minute sales call, or even fucking close people over the DMs, dude. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you watch this video and you got value from this, go make an educational sales asset. Go make something that educates people. Leave a like, maybe comment, maybe subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers in 30 days. Yeah, so I'm trying to double my YouTube subscriber count in 30 days. I hope I can do it. Let's go. Let's run it here. Let's go.